Ron Walton. Good morning to both of you, first of all.
Good morning.
We're also streaming on our Facebook page. Want to check out Mayor Val, all red, white, and blue from the hat to the top. You are star-spangled today.
Oh, yes, I am. I can sing, too, but I won't today.
Oh, I don't mind. Go ahead. There's a reason you brought Chief Walton, besides him being a hard-working officer and well-respected. This is a special week we are honoring police.
Yes. And first of all, as always, I want to open with thanking you all for allowing me to have this show. We do have a large listening audience, and I have to always be careful what I say because people see me and hear me say it. But first of all, one of the things that attracts people to New Brighton, I have to give New Brighton a shout out, it brings them back time and time again, is our community ties that bind the town together. A river town located about 25 miles northwest of Pittsburgh, the town not only attracts visitors but inspires people to return. But today, and I'm usually laughing, yuck, kumbaya, but we're going to talk serious today.
Okay.
I would like to celebrate National Police Week is usually celebrated on May 15th, but they continue the weekend of celebrations. I did some things to make our police officers feel that they are cared about. And before I read this, the interjection, I asked the elementary school kids to participate in writing letters to the police officers, 471 letters.
Oh.
And I told the officers I want every one of them read, and there's going to be a quiz. Okay. National Police Week is an annual observance established by President John F. Kennedy, I'm sure you're aware, in 1962. And it honored law enforcement officers who lost their lives in the line of duty and recognized the service of others still protecting us. But I want you to think about this image. It's a quiet street at 3 a.m. when most of us are asleep in the comfort of our homes. Out there in the stillness, a police officer is on patrol, watching, listening, and ready to respond at a moment's notice. We may never know their name, and they may never know ours, but their presence is the reason we rest a little easier. I want you to meet today in person. The person who does just that at 3 a.m. in the morning is Chief Ron Walton.
Wow. Nice introduction.
Thank you, Ms. Val.
Chief, talk about your background. What made you decide to become a police officer and chief? And what is it about your job that inspires you?
So, as a young child, I was relatively nosy. I was always interested in what was going on around the corner, or always prying my in the business of what was going on. So, as I grew older, that desire to find out what was going on led me into law enforcement. I started off as a part-time police officer, which now is something that's pretty much non-existent. And I worked for several municipalities. I took a job in New Brighton and eventually became full-time in the late 90s, and was hired as promoted to sergeant in, I think, 2010, and then became the chief about 10 years ago.
One thing I've always said about New Brighton, and I don't live there, but I just noticed it so profoundly, what a tight-knit community it is. I don't know if there's a tighter-knit community.
I can't, they got to show me and tell me because I won't believe it.
And Chief, that is no small part to the work that you guys do. And talk about the importance of that kind of community spirit and how as a police force you work to keep that strengthened.
So it's one of the reasons why I remained in New Brighton. They take pride in their community, their downtown business district. The people are really involved in what goes on in their community. There's still a sense of community within the small neighborhoods that are down there. And, the borough council over the years, the previous mayors, have always let the police department be proactive, be fair, but also be stern in what we do. And I think that's maintained a very productive and an environment where people want to open businesses, they want to shop, they want to live and raise their kids. From the police department standpoint of view, we're pretty unique where we get a diverse type of policing. We get to police down into town, but we also go out into Doherty Township, Pulaski Township, and Falston Borough. So the officers get a little bit of relief sometimes from the hustle bustle of running calls to where they can go out and get some fresh air out in Doherty Township or count cows or and just decompress a little bit, and that's very beneficial.
Or Big Rock Park.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Big Rock Park.
The famous Eagles. I try to get down there as often as I can. It's very peaceful in itself.
Well, Mayor Val, you're with us every month, and it seems like some month you'll be talking about something the police have to deal with. You're getting animal calls, or you're getting. It seems like there's just a variety of things. You have to be trained in so many things.
Absolutely, and I call between Tom Albanese and Chief Walton. They're on my speed dial. I just want you to know that when I'm in danger, I need information. Those two people I call, and it goes down to animal control, to neighbors fussing over a parking place, to
dogs
drug
off leashes was one of your topics a month ago.
Yes. So, and they have to deal with all of that. Yeah.
And your 10 years with New Brighton, you said 10, right?
I'm in my 28th year.
28th year, but 10 is chief.
Yes.
What are some of the changes you've seen? I would think technology, like with every other industry, has really become a bigger part of what you do. And
it has been. One of the struggles we have is some of our rental properties, landlords not being involved or as responsible for their properties, and tenants, becoming disruptive, things of that nature, and in the residents, the turnover in those rental properties. So you're getting a wide variety of people coming and going. There's no real roots in those rental properties with the community. The other ongoing pressing issue that we have right now that's a major concern because it involves the kids is these electric scooters and e-bikes.
Yes.
We see them on a regular basis, and we're trying different methods of intervention, education, and lightly enforcing the issues simply because we want to keep the public relations with the youth. But it's becoming a very concerning safety hazard in the manner that they're being operated. And a lot of it just simply comes down to the parents not being responsible. If you ask little Billy if he can go up to his buddy's house 4 blocks away and he can take an electric motorized vehicle to do that, he's going to do that. So it comes down to the parents being responsible and really thinking about what their child's doing whenever they jump on that e-bike that can do 25 mile an hour. And they're cutting corners and riding on sidewalks, and it's a concern. We're really going to be putting a push out there, public safety statements on Facebook. We're going to try to do some education seminars and really and get to the kids and the parents to.
Well, should the parents be involved? Should they be held responsible for a minor?
I think there should be some level of it. I think when we get to the point of enforcement of citations, ultimately, you're not going to have a 12 or 14-year-old child that's going to be paying that citation. So ultimately, it's going to come down to the parents, where when you issue fines and citations, the parents are going to be held accountable to make sure that those are paid. So we don't hope it doesn't get to that point, but if it's a matter of safety for the kids, we'll do what we need to do to keep them safe.
We're chatting with Chief Walton and Mayor Val from New Brighton. You mentioned Facebook, and that's something I've seen all local police and fire departments seem to get really good at, is communicating with the public, letting them know ahead of time if there's a street that's going to be closed, if there's a fire, a hazard, a water main break or something like that. It seems like you guys get out in front of it. And is that something you've seen in recent years?
Yeah, it's a useful tool to reach as many as people in a very fast manner, because we all live fast lives now, and we all got in the habit of scrolling. So, something catches your eye about your hometown or your neighborhood, and it spreads relatively fast. It's amazing how even rumors fly around, inaccurate information on Facebook. But it's a useful tool.
In my opinion, it seems like, let's talk about driving. People are more aggressive driving now than I've ever seen. And as a police officer, I'm curious what you see. And
we have no speed limit in New Brighton now. I mean, you could just go as fast as you want, right?
Yeah, you would think so sometimes. There's a lot of variables that are involved in that. When you have construction in the area, people's road rage kind of goes up because they become less patient. But one of the bigger things that I've noticed, and I know that the law has just recently changed, and I think there's some enforcement efforts that are going to be coming up here in the beginning of June, is the distracted driving related to and I admit that I'm guilty of that from time to time. But the level of distraction that you see, whether it's people stopped at a red light and somebody's scrolling and they don't realize 30 seconds ago the light turned green, to somebody that's driving down the road, trying to get that last post in or send that last text. It's dangerous. I think it's equivalent to driving under the influence of alcohol, because you're going off the road, you're crossing the yellow lines. It can be very dangerous, and I think people really need to make an effort to put the phone down while they're driving.
There's a new law, right? Didn't that come into effect?
Yes.
Yes, and I think that it may not be a secondary offense anymore. You may actually be able to be stopped for that if an officer's observing that violation in real time.
And it's even if you're sitting at a traffic signal or if you're at a stop sign.
Yes.
Even if you're not in motion. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Now, what advice do you have in New Brighton, like any other town? You have to be vigilant, of course, as far as public safety for people protecting their homes and their properties. Are there basic tips that police officers give for just how to be vigilant there? And
just use common sense. You shouldn't leave things laying outside that can be used as weapons or things to break windows or things of that nature to get into your house. Surveillance cameras are everywhere. We're a big advocate for people having some form of surveillance system. We have a lot of car break-ins, people rummaging through for loose chains or electronics in cars, and just using common sense. Lighting, having motion lights or having lights in areas where somebody may be, attracted to sneaking into your backyard or things of that nature. And look out for your neighbors. If it doesn't appear to be what's norm for your neighborhood, give the police department a call. We'd rather deal with handling a suspicious subject call rather than not getting that call and handling 3 burglaries that happened in the neighborhood. So you're not inconvenience us. We would rather intervene before something gets out of hand.
One of the things that I constantly say, and Tom Albanese and Chief Walton, I always say, come to a borough meeting if you have concerns. My borough council people go, come on, Valerie, come on. But then on the other hand, I'm also saying, call the police. And my answer back from the folks that I say that to, I don't want to bother them. This is what they do. This is a police officer. Call the police. And if you don't have, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, if you don't have it on record, if you have 5 reports of this from 5 different people, then this means you need to take attention to. If I call you and it's happened 5 times and it's the first time you heard it, you need to have some history, don't you?
Yes. So we find it more often than not. A lot of people don't want to contact the police for issues that are going on with their neighbors or in their neighborhood. And it may be 2-3 months deep, 4 or 5 incidents deep, and now we're just getting involved. So we're kind of behind the 8 ball, and we've got to play catch up. That only builds to the frustration of the problem that those individuals are dealing with. So the sooner you get involved and get it documented and try to make some intervention actions, the better, because we're able to calm the waters a little bit and rectify those matters in their earlier stages before they blow up and you get a major problem on your hand.
Now, Mayor Val, in your red, white, and blue, you're reminding me we're coming upon the season of fireworks, people celebrating. Are there ordinances and laws? Is there a time deadline when you can't have them? Or what? I'm sure you get police calls on that.
Many. We, the regulations are, I don't want to say that it's 100 feet. Don't quote me on that. But in residential areas, there's basically no safe location under the law in order to launch fireworks. But I think what we need to remind people, what goes up comes down. And they don't realize that, how the wind's blowing, these things are still burning whenever they land. And over the years, we've, with the legalization of certain fireworks, we've got a lot more calls, people being concerned about their backyard or their roof catching on fire. Yeah. And it's a valid concern in a heavily dense populated area. So I highly recommend, if you're going to let fireworks off, go to an area where you know that, and you can account for what you're sending up into the air, where they're coming down, and also clean up. There's a lot of debris that's left behind.
Yes.
We do a great job with our street department and our street sweeping, but there's fields and people's yards where we're finding the remnants of things that have exploded in the air, and so yes.
And one of the, because I told you that my corner is a complaint corner. It's a compliment corner and a complaint corner. And some of the things that my people talk about is, I would call the police, but I'm afraid they'll tell the person who I'm complaining about who I am, and they're afraid of retribution. And we live in a senior community. And I understand that fear, but it's not like you're broadcasting, well, Joe Blow called me to tell you about John Brown. So what do you do in that case?
So we're always aware of that. We attempt to minimize the role of any complainant or even witnesses to that fact. during the initial stages. It becomes a little bit more complicated when you get into if we have to file charges or citations because everybody has a right to face their accusers. But we do try to minimize and find avenues that we are able to resolve problems without adding fuel to the fire. That's the last thing we want to do is compound somebody's problems by our intervention. So we do find methods of wording things or making things anonymous as it relates to neighbors complaining about other neighbors because we don't want to fuel the fire.
That's a good question. So if someone's having a wild party, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, they're still hooting and hollering. If I were to call the police, would my name be given back to the people who had called, or how does that?
There are some right to know laws and things of that nature that somewhere down in the pipeline, further down in the process. It all depends on what action we have to take. Having anonymous calls in some cases can be a hindrance for what we can do, but the officers can always go and corroborate without that future involvement of the witness or the complainant, independently corroborating what has occurred and what is occurring at that time, to where we can kind of eliminate or put you on the back shelf so that you don't have to have as much involvement with the court proceedings or action moving forward.
Okay. Well, I know the police are going to be busy in New Brighton this weekend. You've got the triathlon. People are going to be running through New Brighton, bicycling, heading up to the Sunrise Pool to swim. And,
Correct.
Seems like there's always something going on in New Brighton. A wine walk, you have your Tuesday nights.
Night march.
As a police officer, is that something you're kind of proud of that New Brighton does, and you like being involved in that? And
we are. Sometimes it's with the last few years with some of the staffing issues. That we've been short in law enforcement with recruitment. It's been difficult, but it's something that we're very proud of. It's kind of showcasing, it's kind of the results of the hard work that has gone on for decades in New Brighton, that we're able to have events, people feel comfortable coming into town, they feel safe. We have a great business district, great business owners, and that's a product of the officers' hard work. So yeah, it's very nice to see people come to town and enjoy themselves. And have positive things to say about how the people in New Brighton treat them, how the business owners treat them, and their ability to come in and enjoy themselves.
What's really nice is seeing the officers walk the beat during an activity. I'm so proud of that. And the kids should be told, wait till I call the police on you. It shouldn't be that. It should be, look, the police are, and when you guys come down, you can see the kids, they flock to them and here, take a picture, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, you mentioned this is National Police Week, right?
Yes.
So what do you want people to know who are listening? What do you want them to think about the police, and how can they show their support and respect?
First of all, like when we were doing this show, and Noah came in and said, "Thank you for your service." I talked about it on my spotlight on the seniors. Thank you. Too simple. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. And everybody's unhappy about something. But we need to be grateful for the service that we get right in our own community. And not just New Brighton. I'm sure the other people are listening from other areas. I'd like you to thank your officers, not just on May 15th, because we do have other activities. We've been a part of Drug Night Out and bicycle events. And, they're right there. And I want people to understand that they're working on our behalf.
And Chief, from your perspective, what do you want people to know about your job? Is there any misconceptions? Is there anything that maybe you want to get out there that will make your job easier, make the community safer?
Well, in recognition to National Police Week, it is as Ms. Val said, a simple thank you goes a long way. I don't know how many times, countless times in my career, I've had people not only say thank you, shake your hand, and I'm talking about veterans, people that have made massive sacrifices in their life. Wearing a Vietnam veteran hat, come up and shake your hand. And that really touches you, because knowing what they've gone through and the sacrifices that they've made, and they're appreciative of what you're doing. I think in addition to that is behind every badge, every uniform, there's a story. And we all have our own stories, but during this time of remembering police officers who made the ultimate sacrifice, those officers had stories. And they left behind loved ones. I've had many, many occasions to attend the National Police Memorial Day in Washington, D.C., the candlelight vigil before, and then the service at the Capitol the day of. And it's I get the chills every time I talk about it and think about it. But if you have the opportunity to visit Washington, D.C., the National Police Memorial is at Judiciary Square in D.C., especially during this time of the year. At each name engraved, the decorations, the photographs of kids, the photographs of officers that died, that left kids behind, their wives, and a lot of them have short stories. And I'll tell you, if you're not emotionally moved by that visit,
Yes.
Something's not right. It is and I'm all over the country, the sacrifices that officers make, how they died, the lives that they lived is just amazing. It's something that I strive for and I think about on a regular basis of the sacrifices that have been made, and I think that's what's really important.
Well, on behalf of Beaver County Radio, we appreciate very much the work that you and other police officers do.
Thank you
for keeping us safe. Mayor Val?
That's it. Thank you. I thank you for allowing us to do this and show the public another side of what goes on every day.
Great
every
idea.
day.
All right, good seeing you both.
Thank you.
Take
Take care.
And if you missed any of this, it's on our Facebook page and YouTube page. You can go back and watch there. It'll be up there for several days. So thank you both.
All right.
Beaver County Radio wants to pay